After my husband's 54M cancer scare, I 51F don't want to stay with him. My husband doesn't have cancer. He did have a lump that turned out to be a benign tumor. The doctor told us that it was lucky. If it had been cancerous, he would have likely ended up bedridden and needing my care. However, it still could turn out cancerous in the end. My husband thanked me for sticking by his side while going through this, and it makes me sick with guilt because I don't want to stay. A few years ago, I had ovarian cancer. Instead of supporting me, I found out he was cheating on me. He cried and begged for forgiveness. I honestly thought that I could get over it. I thought that we would get over it stronger than the other side. There's a joke where I'm from that men always have second families. Cheating husbands are very common and their wives stay with them. My mom stayed with my cheating dad and even took in my half-sibling. He's been a great husband since. But I'm looking at taking care of someone who couldn't take care of me. Who cheated on me instead of helping me. My mom had to help wipe my ass because I couldn't do it. And he was out cheating. I can't do it. I can and have done it for someone I love, but I can't do it for him. I feel like an awful person and I don't know why this is the trigger. Why do I feel betrayed now? Why do I want to leave when he potentially is the most vulnerable? And what do I do when I don't want to stay with him when he potentially could be sick? You're not an awful person because you couldn't get past the cheating. You're not an awful person for helping him through one of the hardest times in his life and realizing that when it was your turn previously he was not there for you. You're not awful for wanting to leave someone who doesn't have your back while you are willing to have theirs. Sure, he might spin it in a way to victimize himself with woe is me, I had a cancer scare and she left me. But the truth is you are haunted in the back of your mind that if you have another cancer scare, you don't actually trust him to be there for you. Therefore being there for him just led you to resent him more because it has been cemented in your mind that you're a better person to him than he was to you and you no longer respect him for it. Just tell him that you tried your best in this scare and he's fine now. But all you could think about was how when the situation was reversed, he was looking to replace you instead of support you, and you're done giving to him without him having your back unless he feels bad or scared when it should have been something he wanted to do in the first place. Yeah, you're perfectly valid to leave. He traumatized you. I would, too. It's a wake-up call. Every now and then we have that realization. It's not sudden, but it feels so. It's like a volcano. It will come with warning signs like earthquake, but people ignore it until it erupts. You say you do not know what to do. But you do. It's already in the title, I don't want to stay with. But you are confused on what to do. NOW. How do you act on it? How do you do things that feel so complicated? You got the clarity, it's not that complicated. He had a benign tumor and you took care of him without cheating. You had cancer and he cheats on you. If he ends up with cancer, that's a major trigger because you will be expected to take care of him. Knowing he was cheating on you when the roles were reversed. You did the right thing. He didn't. I would be triggered, too. And resentful. I can only imagine everything came rushing back. I'm so sorry. You're not a bad person at all. You need to do what's best for you even if it means leaving. In response to one of your comments, men don't cheat because of their wife. They cheat because they are cheaters. You aren't leaving because of his cancer scare. You're leaving because his scare made you realize you aren't in love with him anymore, which is a totally valid reason to divorce. You're not an awful person. He cheated on you while you were going through health problems. You need to be with someone who is loyal and honest. You're not an awful person. And I say that as someone who has cancer. I have a rare form of lymphoma which is life-limiting. You're not an awful person because this isn't about the cancer. It's about your husband cheating on you and the consequences of that action. Sometimes people can get through it and sometimes they cannot. You've tried, really tried, and now this incident has highlighted the fact that it is just too much for you. My advice would be to end the relationship quickly and move on. Even though this isn't about cancer. It's about the cheating. It'll be emotionally easier for you to walk away whilst his results are clear. This triggered you because you've just repeated a process that was very traumatic for you with a partner who wasn't there to support you. Even though the roles were reversed, it still brings so much trauma to the surface to walk those same steps. And it's demonstrated to you that you aren't over your husband cheating when you needed him the most. You don't need to be over it. That's not like, oops, I forgot to pick up dinner, so we call the pizza man. At this point, the best thing you can do is take care of yourself. If that means leaving, then that's exactly what you do. Even if his scare never progresses past the point of scare, will you ever fully trust him again? It is okay to end a relationship at any time for any reason or no reason. You have good reason. Hire a lawyer and follow their advice. It sounds like going through this situation gave you some perspective you didn't have before. I think it's fair to say to him, I'm glad for your sake that it turned out not to be cancer. But this really put things into perspective for me. I couldn't help but be brought back to the time when I was suffering from cancer. And instead of helping me and supporting me through it, you were cheating on me. I realize now that I deserve better than someone who would do this to me when I needed them most. And then serve him the divorce papers. In my opinion, cheating is a deal breaker. I could never forgive and forget. You aren't leaving because of the cancer scare. You are leaving because he fucked around whilst you had cancer, and that's what you tell people. The number of men who abandon their partners during an illness is alarmingly large. You should have left him at the time of your illness. It must have hurt you a lot to realize that you would be willing to sacrifice yourself for him and that this is not reciprocal. You have to think about yourself. Is this the type of partner you want on your side? Knowing that there cannot be a moment of vulnerability that can be abandoned. You don't owe him anything. You tried to forgive him and very reasonably couldn't. This likely triggered you because you did the right thing. You stood by him. You would have cared for him if need be. You would have done the hard thing without question because he is your partner. He's already proven to you he couldn't and wouldn't do the same. If you decide to leave him, and I personally believe you should, then you can rest easy knowing you gave your marriage everything you have in you. Move on. Free yourself. Go heal and find happiness. He is an awful human being. You should leave now while he is in a benign state. You do not have to feel bad at all. This is actually super common. There's been whole studies about men who cheat on or leave their wives during serious illness. And TBH, your husband already abandoned you once. He will likely do it again. You are totally justified in leaving him if you don't love him anymore. https amp.theguardian.com/lifeandstyle/2020/mar/30/themen who give up on their spouses when they have cancer. Do not feel guilty for giving him back exactly what he gave you during his time of need, which is more than nothing. He went even farther and gave you more trauma by cheating on you in your most vulnerable time. You go take care of you and let this boss have his affair partner wipe his $1. Serve that revenge pie. Girl, divorce him. He doesn't have cancer, so you don't have to feel guilted into staying. I think it's because the roles are reversed. You get sick and he cheats. But now he gets sick and you are loyal plus taking care of him. That would be triggering for anyone in your situation. All I can say is you are justified in leaving. Now or later. He broke his vows first by cheating. You aren't terrible for wanting to leave a one-sided relationship. Wishing you the best of luck, op. Tell your husband that this cancer scare made you rethink a few things and unfortunately you're just not able to move forward from his affair. You can't see yourself caring for someone who proved he was incapable of being there for you and that you can't commit to someone who's painfully selfish. Op. I think you have been given a gift, a defining moment that has clarified what you know you need. There is nothing wrong with not wanting to stay with him. Don't guilt yourself over what ifs. Accept your gift of clarity and move on. You did more for him already than he has done for you. You deserve a life where you don't have to worry about him cheating.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.